I made the commitment several months ago that I was not going to be doing TBRs anymore. And I meant it. I meant it. Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. It's Tori. I realized when I was looking through my shelves this last week that I do kind of have some reading plans for January 2024, and I figured there was no harm in sharing them with you. Now, I know that there's probably going to be somebody in the comments who's like, you know, Tori, that does kind of look like a TBR. What I'm going to say about this is my reading plans, as I'm going to try and share them with you guys at the beginning of the months, are not fixed. These are things that I am intending to read. These are things that are popping up in my mood reading whims that I would just really like to read. And some of them are going to be buddy reads, and those, of course, are for the most part locked in unless I have a random change of heart at the last minute, which I usually don't. It's a reading plans video, okay? Just let me have this, all right? Just let me have it. Anyways, so I have a stack over here that I'm going to share with you guys, the first one of which, if you saw my community post a few weeks ago, I announced that I am going to be doing a book club every month here on my channel through the year 2024 to read and bring some new, fresh attention to some classic female SFF authors. Now, I was appalled by the lack of information I found on some of these authors and the lack of content that I'm seeing on some of these authors on YouTube. And I figured, well, if I'm going to complain about it, I should probably do something about it. So my book club, which I will announce in the community tab every month, but I will also mention it here in my reading plans videos. The book club is going to be called Cosmic Footsteps, and every month for my reading plans video, I will share with you guys which book I have chosen that we will be reading in that month. Now, my patrons actually do get to vote on which book that we are going to be reading the next month, and while I do hold the final authority, pretty much they're going to be the ones picking the book. I will give them some options and they will vote on which book we will be reading next. Now, the cool part about this is that most of these books are short enough to easily slide into any monthly TBR without making too much of a fuss. And that was kind of one of the things I liked about this project, is because not only am I going to be drawing attention to some classic SFF authors, however, it's also not going to be something that's going to break anybody's TBR. So the first pick in January 2024 for the Cosmic Footsteps Book Club is Daughter of the Forest by Juliette Marillier. Now, Daughter of the Forest follows the story of a young woman named Lady Sorcha, who is the youngest of 7 children. All of the older siblings are brothers, and they adore their little sister. But when tragedy befalls the family and her brothers are cursed, Sorcha is the only one who can break it. Now, I have heard amazing things about this book, and I'm really excited to read it, especially because I love that it has ties to some ancient mythology. I have heard that there are some scenes in this book that might be a little sensitive for some readers, so please definitely check out if there are any content warnings that you should be aware of, but I do hope that you will join us in reading Daughter of the Forest by Juliette Marillier as our first Cosmic Footsteps book club read. The next one is another buddy read I'll be doing in January, and I did a buddy read last year with my good friend Dr. John Morrow, who is a reader reviewer extraordinaire for the Grimdark magazine, and we read and reviewed and did discussions about The Last War by Mike Shackle. This January, Dr. John Morrow and I are going to be joined by my very good friend Kay from Kay's Hidden Shelf, and we are going to be diving into Anna Smith Sparks' The Empires of Dust trilogy, which begins with The Court of Broken Knives. Now, the only thing that I know about this trilogy is that it is exceptionally grimdark, which I'm treading with a little bit of caution because grimdark can be very hit or miss for me. If it is straight and true, brutal, gratuitous nihilism, I'm not gonna love it. However, I have heard amazing things about this trilogy. I've heard that Anna Smith Spark tackles some really heavy themes and is a very, very good writer. So I'm really looking forward to checking this out. We will be reading a book a month until the trilogy is done, and we will be doing a discussion on the books as we finish them. So, Court of Broken Knives by Anna Smith Spark. All that I know about this, and I've made it a point to kind of go in as blind as possible, is that there is a city that believes itself impenetrable or immortal, and there is an assassination attempt on the king, and there is a main character who destiny and things. So I know that that's a fantastic pitch, I apologize, but you should definitely go and check out the synopsis on Goodreads to see if this is something that you want to read along with us. Now we get to the reading plans, not TBR part of this video, which is books that I really would like to read in January. We'll see if I end up actually getting to them or not, but these are some of the books that have kind of stood out to me in this last month as I was thinking through what books I wanted to start off the year in 2024 with. The first one is a book that I have talked about so many times, and it is a book that I cannot believe I have not read yet. I've mentioned this on so many videos at this point, and it's just kind of getting ridiculous. So in January, I am going to be reading Sword of Kaigen, period. It is going to happen. It's gonna happen, you guys. I'm really, really excited to read this. I have heard that this is so many people's favorite indie book ever, and that just makes me really excited. I love that it's Asian inspired. I love that it's a mother and son duo. I love that it is action-packed. I'm just here for this whole concept, and I cannot wait to finally be able to say that I have read Sword of Kaigen. It's gonna happen, you guys. It's gonna happen. I will probably be reading this regular paperback edition because I would like to tab and mark and whatever this book as I'm reading. But I'm really hoping I love it because I did end up going ahead and backing the Wraithmarked Kickstarter for this beautiful copy of Sword of Kaigen that I received last year. It's absolutely beautiful, but I am definitely one of those weird people who struggles. It's honestly more that it's a hardcover than that it's a special edition. I don't necessarily mind reading special editions, but I do have a really hard time reading hardcovers. My hands, I have weird like pain in my joints of my thumbs especially, and so it is harder for me to read hardcovers than it is trade paperbacks. But anyways, you didn't need to know all that information. Moving right along, I want to continue on another indie series that I started last year. Actually, I started it in 2022, I think. Or was it very early? No, I think it was the end of 2022. You guys, this is just, I don't know how I get so behind on all of this stuff. But that is The Bone Shroud, which is book 2 of the Collation Saga by my very good friend Andrew D. Meredith, who has been very patiently awaiting my thoughts on his book 2. Thank you for being so patient, Andrew. I really appreciate it. And I am so... I can't believe it's taken me this long to get back to this series because I'm really looking forward to seeing where some of the threads that we left off in Deathless Beast go in Bone Shroud. And when I get through Bone Shroud, then I'm going to be able to read Gloves of Eons, which literally just came out a couple of months ago, and it is book 3 in the Collation Saga, but I am not planning on reading both of them in January because I am trying to leave myself a little bit of breathing room. Now, manga is something that I am determined to take a giant bite out of in 2024, and I'm very excited. I've been meaning to try and taste test a whole bunch of mangas for a while, and by the time this video comes out, I will have taste tested a few that I got from the library, but one that I purchased after seeing Philip Chase and Murphy Napier talk so positively about it was Vagabond by Takahiko Inoue. This series is a manga that takes place in feudal Japan, and after the battle, I think it's after the Battle of Sekigahara, and it follows a group of samurai. Now, I read Shogun by James Clavell last year and really loved that time period in history and that all of the things about that era, and I cannot wait to read Vagabond, especially now that I have Shogun under my belt, because I think that this is just going to continue giving me more of the story that I loved so much in Shogun. I have flipped through very briefly some of the art in this omnibus edition, and it is just chef's kiss. So I'm really, really excited to start Vagabond. I'm a little worried, I'm not gonna lie, that I'm gonna spoil myself for a lot of other manga by starting with Vagabond because it is so good from everything I've heard. I'm a little nervous about that, but maybe that says more about me being too cautious in trying things that I know I'm gonna love. That's dumb. Why do we do that? Anyways, I'm gonna read this and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna love it, and I'm really excited. Now, the last book that I wanted to bring up on my tentative reading plans for January is one that is in a series that you guys are probably expecting, but not the book that you guys are probably expecting. So as most of you know, I am a massive fan of the original Red Rising trilogy, which consists of Red Rising, Golden Sun, and Morning Star. I did intend to start 2024 by reading Iron Gold, which I still intend to do. However, the more I thought about it, I really would like to reread Golden Sun and Morning Star first. I reread Red Rising late last year, and the more I thought about it, the more I didn't feel right just jumping into Iron Gold without reconnecting with the original trilogy and what I loved so much about it, and coming into Iron Gold with a fresh reread of the original trilogy, I just think is going to be a better way to go about that. Now, I read these books incredibly quickly, so the likelihood that I will get to Iron Gold before the next month or two is over is very high. So if you're disappointed that the book I'm holding up is not Iron Gold, don't fear. It's not going to be long in coming, and I'm just really looking forward to reconnecting with these characters and refreshing my memory, especially because I would like to do some Red Rising content on the channel in this first half of 2024, because I've been talking about it for long enough and it's time. So, Golden Sun is also on my potential reads for January. I realize that it's kind of an ambitious stack. It is a little ambitious, but I feel pretty good about it. And again, because I'm not doing strict TBRs, it is very flexible. I may pull a book, I may add a different book, I may read half the stack or read more than the stack. I have no idea. But that, I just kind of wanted to give you guys a basic idea of my reading plans for January. Now, in terms of channel content, one of the things that I would love to focus on in 2024 is my word of the year, which I chose recently, and it is reconnect. And one of the things that I'm going to be focusing on in 2024 is really pouring a lot of love and energy into the relationships that I've spent the last year plus building here on BookTube. So prepare for a lot more Motley Crew chats and just really having a good time talking with people I know about books that we all love. So I hope that you guys will tune in for those. I will also plan on rebooting my author interviews and chatting with authors that I have recently read. I'm going to be reaching out to some authors in the next month and seeing if I can get some guests scheduled for the channel. And I hope you guys will show up for those conversations too, because honestly, I love the live streams. I love that they give us the opportunity to be interactive with you guys, as well as have conversations with some really amazing people. Tell me down in the comments below what your plans for January look like. If you're mood reading, if you have some books that are up on deck, let me know down in the comments. Let me know if you're going to be joining in on our book club or buddy read of Court of Broken Knives or Daughter of the Forest. I hope you are reading 5-star reads. I hope your 2024 is kicking off with a great start, and I will see you in the next video.